Mob shops are happy when they feed you. J-Buck to flyers in the treetop. Words that blow the meaning in the bebop. The world I love, the tears I've dropped to be part of the wave that's...
Herzlich willkommen zurück zu den European Darts Open 2019. Wir senden live auf PDC TV und sind zu Gast in der Ostermann Arena Leverkusen. Was für ein erstes Halbfinale haben wir erlebt und wir kommen ohne Umschweife zu Halbfinale Nummer 2 und begrüßen auf der Bühne einen Mann, der mittlerweile in seiner zweiten Premier League-Saison steht. Die Formkurve bei ihm zeigt wieder steil nach oben. Er stand in diesem Jahr bereits im Finale der UK Open aus Hastings, England. Der Weltmeister von 2018, Voltage Rob Cross! Bekommt es zu tun mit der aktuellen Nummer 3 der Welt. Zweimal konnte er die European Darts Open bereits für sich entscheiden. Er ist ein früherer Finalist bei der Weltmeisterschaft und der Premier League und der ehemalige UK Open Champion. Party Time mit Snakebite Peter Wright!
There was a time on the European Tour, the greatest tour in professional sports, that even though we had the greatest players on the planet playing this fantastic game in some of the best venues where darts has ever been staged, in front of enormous crowds, all the conditions were perfect, you just would not get 9 darters. People would go 6, 7, 8 darts into the 9 and it would not happen. 5 years we had to wait for Michael van Gerwen to break the curse of Ross Smith. And now, in 2019, he has gone and chucked another one in the very first event of the year. This could be a very, very good sign. It's MVG's 20th 9-darter, and he's just come over to the commentary box and said, I went that way on purpose. I wanted to go a different route for the 9. He's now actively looking for different ways to hit the perfect leg. MVG will be back in the final, and maybe he can produce another one. Maybe we'll see one from these guys. It certainly has the ingredients for an incredible semi-final. The world numbers 2 and 3 fighting it out to face the world number 1 for the title here at the European Darts Open. Peter Snakebite Wright is looking to face Michael van Gerwen for the 3rd time in 4 years in the final of this event. Rob Cross is looking to make a Euro Tour final and face Michael van Gerwen on the very stage where he beat him for the first time in his career.
First. Game on.
Maybe we'll see someone go.
And the King joins us in the comms box for this one.
Hello there. Maybe you should try the 167 route. 167, 167, 167.
Well, I know a man who's done that. Although he's just gone out in the semi-finals. Mensur Suljovic did that in the Super League in Austria a few years back. The men saw 9.
Did he really?
He did.
I never heard that.
Seen the score sheets.
Congratulations. I tip my hat to him.
Yeah. Could have done with it tonight.
Yeah.
Now,
What made that 9-darter a bit different, regardless of the way he finished, was that seemed to come from nowhere.
yes.
I just picked out of the air and I'll just hit a 9-darter.
Well, look, it was only one leg, but it was a leg that changed the entire course of that game because Michael van
Definitely.
Gerwen was doing nothing. He was sleepwalking his way out of the tournament.
It seemed to wake him up.
It did. It really did. Now, the question is, who will face him in the final? That might be the worst visit Peter Wright has had all weekend. Rob Cross has not had many poor visits at all himself. 3-ton-plus averages. And loads of these.
140.
Remember playing Michael van Gerwen when he was 15 in a tournament in Holland in the semi-final. I think that was Veldhoven or somewhere. And he beat me.
129.
And what did you think at the time? Did you think this is just a precociously talented young man who's had a good day? Or do you think that is a star who may go on to become one of the greatest that's ever thrown a dart?
PD require 56.
I didn't think it was just a good day for him. I've been watching him throughout the day and he had been playing some fantastic stuff. So it was definitely potential there.
36.
It's fair to say he has realised his potential. Can Rob Cross realise an 80 checkout to break the Peter Wright throw in the opening leg here? Does have a winning record against Peter Wright. Rubbish, the verdict from Voltage.
Oh, 2 10s for Wright. Two 5s. Smack bang in the centre. Thank you very much. Holty's throw. Go 1-0 up.
Plenty of battles between these two, even though Rob Cross has obviously not been playing PDC darts for that long, if we're honest. They did, of course, first meet at the UK Open, where Rob Cross has this incredible record, where he only ever loses to the person who goes on to claim the title. Done it to Michael van Gerwen when he played as an amateur. Did it to Michael van Gerwen in his first year in PDC darts. Did it to Peter Wright. And he's also, Gary Anderson that followed Peter Wright. And then, of course, Nathan Aspinall in the final this year. If you beat Rob Cross at the UK Open, just give him the trophy. Doesn't matter when you beat him. Oh, very nearly.
I thought he might have switched down to 19s after that second one, the way he sort of looking to see if that was in.
Well, one of the flights wasn't going to cause a problem because it was on the floor.
100.
So Peter Wright attacking the Rob Cross throw. It is astonishing to my mind, Peter Wright. We've seen Van Gerwen just firing his 20th 9-darter of his career. Peter Wright has 1. That's it. Like, I just expect it. The amount that he plays in everything. He's a big scorer. He's great at combination checkouts. You just expect him to have at least 1 or 2 more.
96. PD require 98.
Probably start on the treble 20. 78 left. Switch to 18s. 20 to leave tops.
You're not a man who entertains the double-double finish in that instant Smurf.
I'm not a great fan of it, but there are times.
Are you a fan of this, Smurf?
If he gets it.
Big fan! What a checkout from Voltage.
Lovely finish. There has been the odd time where I've gone double-double. I can remember one of them was 96, covered the treble 20, looked at the treble 12 and thought, double 18's bigger than that, and went double 18, double top. I don't do it very often.
Well, look, I mean, Peter Wright is a fan of the double-double finish, but usually when you're looking at the 18s and the 20s, he likes that same segment of the board. Double 19 for double top is a very tricky one. And Rob Cross fires in his first 180, and a sign of Rob Cross's game this year is that he's going to go through a purple patch, and it can last a bit like Van Gerwen, where it just goes 3, 4, 5, 6 legs, where he starts just powering in the big scores and the doubles start to flow. And Rob Cross has powered in back-to-back maximums to leave 1-4-1. He is also a man like Peter Wright, who has hit 1 9-darter in his PDC career. Could the unthinkable happen and we see a perfect leg 7-10 minutes after the last one? We could see it. Oh my word. You are right to boo him, Leverkusen. Ten darters aren't bad though, eh, Merv?
Definitely not. I'd have had a couple of those. I would have liked a couple of those the other day. Nice bit of pressure by Peter, but 3 in his hand for double 4.
Oh, there we go. Rob Cross does make that a 10-dart leg. He was really in trouble for a moment. He was looking at going 2-0 down to Peter Wright, and within the space of 13 darts, he is 2-1 up. 160 checkout followed by a 10-darter. So he's actually had a run of 10 perfect darts there.
This is true.
96.
Their meeting in the Premier League this year ended in a draw. That, of course, cannot happen here. First to 7 legs.
I'm not a fan of the draw.
It's better than a defeat, Merv.
Yeah, but I believe it's a contest. You've got nowhere to hide. You can't snooker anybody, and there should be a winner and a loser. But that's only my opinion.
And you're entitled to it, Mervyn.
Whether it be right or wrong.
Wow. 180, number 3 for Rob Cross.
It's quite disturbing, the regularity that he's found in that treble 20 now.
Yeah, well, he's been doing that all year. You look on the tour, in the Players' Championship series of events, Rob Cross averages more than anybody else this year. He is hitting 180s more frequently than everybody, apart from Jeffrey Desvan, Dave Chisnell, Michael Smith and Mensur Suljovic. Double 16 for Voltage to follow up the 10-darter with a 12-darter. Not quite.
Require 142.
Options here. Some players like the treble 17s.
You can never really tell with Peter which way he's going to go. He'll just pull some obscure way out of the hat.
90, Robbie require 32.
So, double 16 for Rob. Straight first dart, straight in the middle. Holds his throw to go 3-1 up. Peter's got to be looking at holding his throw here, but otherwise the game could be getting away from him.
What was it like, Merv, when Rob Cross appeared on the scene? Obviously, he'd done well on the Challenge Tour, but you guys on the full tour, you know that that's no guarantee. You don't really know how serious a contender he is. But at what stage in that first year did you guys start looking around and going, hang on, this, you've got to watch out for this lad?
Right, let me explain. The first qualification for the Euro event, I happened to beat Rob Cross to get through. And I'm thinking, this boy can play. Followed by the next day, he beat me in the Players' Championship final. And I'm thinking, this boy can play even better. So to me, it was fairly early.
Very early on.
Yeah.
Just the 110 average for Rob Cross right now.
Is that all?
Well,
60.
the way things have been going for Rob Cross, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that he maintains that. He is a guy who has posted an average on the tour closer to 120 than 110.
40.
But it's not about numbers, it's about winning games. And that's been the only frustration for Rob Cross, because this year, UK Open final, fantastic. One semi-final on the tour prior to today, despite the fact he's top of the averages in the Premier League, top of the averages on the tour. He's losing games with averages 103, 104, 105. People are doing very, very special things to beat him. But if you keep on doing what you're doing, that will turn, won't it?
Well, the law of averages says it has to. You can't keep getting those games thrown at you without coming out on top of them.
Peter Wright looking to come out on top in this leg, and does so with a ton-plus checkout of his own.
To throw first. Game on.
Well, I feel that was a valuable hold for Peter there. I think the game could have started getting away from him. Of course, now we've gone up the amount of legs played.
34.
You used to play pairs with Peter, back in a day before Peter became Snakebite, when he
85.
looked like a normal person. Now, did you believe that Peter could go on to become the world #2, a major champion, world finalist?
Definitely.
Always from that very moment.
Oh, definitely. You have no idea of how that man used to play darts. I believe he was better then, 20 years ago, when we used to play pairs, than he is now.
And
he's
yet,
become harder to beat now, but I think he was a better player then.
and yet, he nearly walked away from the game. Were it not for his run to the World Championship final, things were not happening for him on the PDC Tour. They weren't happening with enough regularity, and he thought, maybe I'm not cut out for this. And the World Championship run, his first World Final, changed that. Even then, when he wasn't achieving great things on the PDC Tour, did you still think he could do it? There's something there.
Oh, he's always had the game. Always. But there was, I wouldn't say a disbelief in his own ability, but there used to be this self-destruct button, and he had to play what he would think would be the perfect game of darts. If he threw a bad dart, missed a double, he'd shake his head and he'd lose from being in a commander position. And it took me a long while to actually sort of get him to understand that once you've let go of the dart, there's nothing you can do about it. It is going to land where it lands. And all you can do is concentrate on the next dart. Once he started to understand that and forget the bad ones, now we've got the Snakebite.
Well, I think certainly the mental side of things is obvious, because Peter Wright didn't take long for him to adopt the Snakebite persona and the hair and the clothes and all this, and then things did start to happen. And it is very much like Superman getting in the phone box, and he changes from Clark Kent into something with extraordinary powers.
I can't say I've ever seen him wear his underpants on top of his jeans, though.
I thought you were close, Merv. 180 #4 for Rob Cross.
Could he muster another one?
He could.
It's looking good.
Oh,
140.
This is quite a high-scoring affair.
certainly is. Rob Cross averaging 112. Peter Wright's 103 is being made to look, well, inferior, significantly so at the moment, because Rob Cross just don't stop.
That's a great setup.
This could be his second 10-dart leg of the match. There is a chance for Wright to deny him the opportunity.
Started well.
Oh, wow. Wanted to slide in alongside that, and in the end, it's just caught the top half of the dart and bounced above the treble. Desperately unfortunate.
I was looking at treble 18 for that second dart. He fooled me.
Double 18 for Rob Cross, a double he absolutely adores, but not from that one. Shake of the head, he knows why. Pin double 9 last time out, eventually. And does last dart here for a 12-darter, and Rob Cross is in charge of this game. And he is in charge of it by virtue of an astonishing, consistent display. The average is massive. It is set to be, if he maintains this, it will be the highest average ever seen at the European Darts Open. That was previously Robert Thornton in a semi-final back at the Maritime Hotel in Dusseldorf, where he obliterated James Wade on his way to the title. Averaged 111 in that game.
60.
This could be something similar or even better.
The higher, the better.
Well, it could go up. That's the thing.
96.
96ers won't make it go up. But he's allowed one or two.
Well, Peter Wright has achieved something already this weekend. By virtue of getting to the semi-finals, he retains his spot as world number 3. Had he gone out before the semis, he would have dropped below Gary Anderson in the world rankings and become Scotland's number 2. As it is, our semi-final lineup contained 4 national number 1s, and it may well be the top 2 in the world in the final. Peter Wright still has something to say about that, though.
He's fighting hard. Rob looking to set this up. Bit of a slip with the second one.
83.
Now, Peter's chance to apply some pressure. Only 100, but it has left a rather tasty finish of 117.
Yeah, those sorts of checkouts that Peter Wright is something of a specialist at. 1 treble needed, you only get 1 dart at the double.
80.
But Peter Wright,
117.
an expert at taking these out. Can't really afford to let Rob Cross have a go at that 94. Treble 19. Leaves double top. He's still in this one.
Great breaker throw there from Peter. Hauling himself back into this match.
Nine flag Peter to throw first. Game on.
It's a big visit.
Is there a difference, Merv, in your mind when you're playing and it's, say for example, it's first to 7 as the format is here? Is there a psychological difference when your opponent is on 5 legs or 4 legs compared to when they're just 1 leg away? Is it something you can feel where
50.
if they're 2 legs away, you think, okay, there's a little bit of breathing room. If I make a mistake, it might not be terminal. Whereas if you know, just 1 poor visit and that could be that, the game is gone.
Yeah, I think it affects people differently. I try not to look upon it that way. I tend to look and think, right, I've got to break him and then I've got to hold my own. I don't look at the on 1 leg or 2 legs away or there away from the match.
140.
I tend to think about what I have to do more than what they've got to do. And then that way I stay more confident of what I've got to do.
92.
I certainly remember when Michael Smith, as a young man, produced his famous victory over Phil Taylor at the World Championship. He genuinely had no idea he'd won the game. Managed to hit the winning double. And yes, was celebrating,
97.
but thought there were more legs. There weren't. He needed, I think it was George Noble, to tell him that he'd just won the match. And I think almost being completely unaware of the exact state of the game, he was just there in the zone throwing darts, probably allowed him to deal with the pressure in that situation.
You can be so focused on what you have to do that everything else is not there.
Well, that really does apply some pressure because Rob Cross is on a nice little 2-dart checkout. Peter Wright has already taken out 117 in the last leg. This one could require the bullseye. Oh, well, he can't even do it now. And we know the route that Rob Cross will go for this. It'll be treble 20 for double 6, or 2 single 20s for double 16 to go within a leg.
A very poor first start from Peter. All right, Rob's found the treble 20, leaves him double 6. Oh, inside, 2 3s. Underneath. Allows Peter to return to 96. Now he's ruined the chance of maybe he should have left it better.
Well, true, and it could be a double-double finish here for Peter Wright. Doesn't need to in the end because it's double 18. And the switch to double 9. And he cannot find it.
No.
Do you split this or do you go at it, Merv?
Ooh, it's a toughie. I think I'd probably go 2 double.
Rob Cross disagrees. He disagrees with the king. He's got to skewer it in from over on the left.
3.
Should have taken some royal advice, Voltage.
Not necessarily. It might not have worked that way either.
True.
Peter really hit it or split it with the first one. He's got to go for it. Or is he?
Straight in, 5-4. The Rob Cross charge has been arrested.
Peter still has to break him.
Peter Wright's solitary title last year came by beating Rob Cross in the final in the Players' Championship event in Wigan over the summer.
100.
But since then, he lost 3 consecutive semi-finals all in the World Series to him. They drew in the Premier League at the start of this year. Yes, there was a victory in the group stages for Peter Wright, the Champions League of darts. But Rob Cross has had the better of their head-to-head meetings. Oh, lovely stuff. Yes, lovely stuff from Rob Cross. That treble 18 save.
He loves that treble 18.
Is there anybody better in the world of darts on that 18 segment, Merv?
I would say there used to be someone, and his name was Dennis Priestley.
Well, if you're being mentioned in the same breath as the Menace, you're doing something right.
Because Dennis used to use that as a cover shot. Very rarely would you see Dennis go down to the 19s.
Well, Rob Cross leaves himself 48. 2 darts he should get for 6-4. Although you can't count your chickens. Gerwyn Price should have had 2 darts to beat Michael van Gerwen. And missed the big number, so only got the 1. Somewhere Rod Harrington shook his fist at the sky and screamed about people missing the big number. The big number is not missed. How about the double? The double is not missed either. A 14-darter from Rob Cross. Is Voltage back on track and looking to set up a clash with Michael van Gerwen in the final here in Leverkusen?
Well, there's no difference now. Peter has to win the next 3 legs.
He does have the throw in 2 of them, though. Some solace for Snakebite.
I'm sure Rob will try and get the job done at this leg.
121.
There you see 17 darter to start. That rather scrappy 19 darter with Cross missing at double 6 and double 3, and then 3 more at double 3.
100.
But everything else has been fabulous.
Should have been another 10 involved there, really. I
Well,
think.
there very nearly was.
83.
A 160 checkout. He needed that to prevent himself going 2-0 down, Rob Cross. Had it not gone, this game could have been very different. But
Very much so.
a mid-game surge from Rob Cross where he won 5 of 6 legs, and this is what he does to players. The best players in the world do this. Van Gerwen, famed for doing it. Just going on runs where somebody's going to have to find a 12 darter or something really special to stop you. Johnny Clayton couldn't do that when he came roaring back from 4-1 down
95.
earlier on this afternoon. And Rob Cross again, 101, 105, 101, and now 103. There are his averages. It is not dipped below that 101
60.
mark. At one stage, you thought it was going to be 113. There you go, 103 average for the event. That is tournament-winning stuff, potentially. And he leaves himself 102 checkout for a spot in the final. But this would be some skin saver.
A very big ask, 158. He's got the first one. Move him to the left, make the angle. Just under 78 required. Probably go 18s here.
98. Robbie Royal 102.
Rob Cross, the world number 2. Gets a match dart to beat the world number 3. Oh, and he's just pulled it.
84.
Pulled it next door.
PT requires
The
60.
narrowest of margins, and Peter Wright survives, but for how much longer? At least another leg. We have seen Michael van Gerwen survive a match start against Gerwin Price. He is now in the final. Peter Wright has survived a match start. Can he complete the comeback?
97.
Rob's first dart is dropping a little bit. A great first dart from Peter there, just underneath the top wire. Doesn't follow it up with a second. Fabulous third. That's 140. Put a bit of pressure on Rob in a leg that Peter has to win, has to break Rob here. And Rob's not going to go quietly with a 140 of his own.
Rob Cross has seemed like a guy, the entire time we've known him as a darts player, he seemed a guy who, it's not as if he thrives on pressure, it's just that it almost doesn't register. Is it something that the top players, Merv, of which you are undoubtedly one, is that something that you can train yourself to do? Or is it just something that's in you?
I think it comes with loving the game and what the game's about. And you have an opponent you have to beat. And when they hit you with a barrage of big scores, it lifts you.
85. Robbie 124.
He sees every piece of excellence chucked at him as just something to test himself against. And he has tested himself against Peter Wright here. And he might come off with a victory, because it's a 12 darter sealed with a 1-2-4 checkout. And Rob Cross again produces a stunning world-class display. The world number 2 will face the world number 1 in the final of the European Darts Open. It was on this very stage here at the Osterman Arena in Leverkusen that Rob Cross took on and beat Michael van Gerwen for the first time in his career. That foreshadowed his incredible, spectacular World Championship semi-final win over MVG. as he became world champ in the most spectacular debut season we've seen from anybody in PDC darts. He has another crack at him here in Leverkusen as he looks to win his first Euro Tour title. The final is coming up in about 20 minutes time. It is MVG against Voltage, and MVG has already hit a perfect leg of darts here tonight. We're going to show you that in just a moment's time.
Durchschnauft und sich auf sein Finale gegen Michael van Gerwen vorbereitet, gibt es für euch nochmal die Möglichkeit, den neuen Data von Michael van Gerwen mit dem Live-Kommentar der englischen Kollegen hier auf den Leinwänden zu sehen, und dann geht es gleich weiter mit dem Finale.
First player in the final to 6 legs, the first player in the final to 7 legs, but he was not the first to 8. The new target